Okay, so I've had a lot of people, they love the way that I make my shrooms, my shroom tea, because you can't taste it at all. It's just like, just like Kool-Aid. I mean, no chunks, no mushroom taste, nothing. So I'm going to make a video on how to do it so other people can do it. It's very, very easy, really simple. No measuring. I mean, you might want to measure your shroom so you know how much you're taking if you want, but other than that, you don't have to, it doesn't matter how much water, it doesn't matter anything like that. So first you start out, I mean, I filled it up a little bit more than that. I don't know if you can see that. Just like, I don't know, maybe like a couple of inches in there, just to make sure that the shrooms are, submerged in the water. Then I boil that on high. I'm gonna let that boil down to where it's almost like down to the bottom, but you don't ever let it run completely out, because the theory is here is that the psilocybin doesn't evaporate with the water; it stays in the water. So you boil it down and let the water evaporate, and you want to get as little as water as possible. So that means it makes it as stronger per volume. And so, hold on, we'll be back when I do the next step. Okay, now here we are. The water has boiled down. I don't know if you can see that good or not. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to pour just a little more water in there. Now all we're doing this for is because we just want to boil them down like 2 or 3 times. I let it simmer on that one. I let it boil to a rolling boil, and then on the first one, I let it go kind of slow. And then after that, it's balls to the wall, baby. Just go full blast. Just make sure you're on top of it, because if the water ever runs out, it'll burn, and it dries out, and it's done. You lose all your good stuff. So, now, the reason I boil them like 3 times is because I don't want to eat them. Some people like eat the mushrooms that are left over. I don't want to do that, because the whole reason I boil them is because I don't like the taste, I don't like the texture, I don't like the smell, nothing. And it's hard, and it's like it almost makes me sick at some point if I just eat them normally or drink them just with the regular flavor. So this is why I do this, because it gets more of the psilocybin out of it. And then when I'm done, of course, I wring them out, kind of, sort of, like a sponge or a rag with water in it, to make sure I get the rest. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, now I've boiled them down like 2 more times, and you can do it as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do now is you just take a cup, and you can put a coffee filter or paper towel or whatever. What you want to do, though, is you want to take like a thumbtack or anything that's sharp, and you want to poke holes in the paper towel, because if not, it takes it a long time to drain through, and it sometimes it won't drain through at all. Like all the stuff will get on the bottom, and it'll keep the water from going through. I guess it would eventually, but it's like, you want to trip, and you don't want to really be doing. You can do it after it's wet, but you take the risk of it tearing, and then you got to start all over. If you don't want debris and sand and trash all on your shrooms. Now, you just pour it in. See how my water is like dark? That's a good sign. And you want to boil it down to as little as possible, because just because there's a lot of water don't mean there's a lot of psilocybin. There's going to be the same amount of psilocybin no matter how much water is in there. So you want to make as little water as possible to do this method that I do, so you don't have to taste it or anything. And put a fork here. Get this out. And what we'll do is, woo, yeah, buddy, boy, look at this. I don't know if you can see it very good, but look at that. Woo, son. I might be in for a ride today. Don't know. But anyways, I'm going to let that sit there for a minute and let it kind of cool off, because the main thing for it not to taste like mushrooms to me is it's got to be cold. And so you can't stick it in the freezer and save it for later. It's like you pretty much got to do it within like 30 minutes or an hour of boiling it, in my opinion, because it seems like there is a shelf life to it, and it's really quick. So if you think you're going to like make a bunch of it and you're going to drink some and get messed up, and then you're going to save, half of it for like 6 or 7 hours later and think you're going to go right back up and get that same high again, it's not going to happen. You're probably barely going to trip on the second one, because the stuff's going to fade and it's, you know, it just has a shelf life. So what I'm saying is you don't want to stick it in the freezer and let it chill for like a couple of hours. What you want to do is you want to make it real quick, and you want to put ice in it, but you want to let it cool off just a little bit so the ice, you know, so the ice has some effect on it. You don't have to put too much ice in it, because remember, the whole thing we're doing here is trying to make it to where it's as little a liquid as possible, and where it tastes nothing like shrooms, where it's perfectly like Kool-Aid. We'll be back after these messages. Hey folks, today's trip is brought to you by happiness and love and butterflies and rainbows for everybody. Democrats, Republicans, Christians, Muslims, agnostic, and even those atheists. And I don't know, I forgot the song maybe. I hope not, because then what if I forgot the trip? Thank you very much. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to go to Kroger and get some grape Kool-Aid, because I didn't have grape Kool-Aid, and that's what I always use because it's tart and it covers the taste really well. And all I had was these little things like this, and I only got 4 of them, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of like some tangy crap. So, which is, my friend Brian Black showed me how to do this. He used Tang, but I changed it to grape Kool-Aid, and I like it better like that. Not to say Brian's wasn't great, because it was. I'd down a gallon of his mixture right now with him, but we're going to change it to grape, and I don't have any grapes, so I'm going to Kroger. So, while I'm going to Kroger, I thought I would spend this time to tell you a little bit, or y'all, or whatever, why I'm doing this trip. And it's taken me a long time to eat these mushrooms. I've had them for a long time. I grew them like 6 months ago. And because I knew when I had to do this trip right here that I'm just going to change a lot of things. The main thing is I'm going to quit lying to myself, and I'm going to get rid of most of the toxic things in my life. People, substances, trees that are toxic or whatever. You know, there's not many trees that are toxic, but you know what I mean. So that's why I waited so long. But it's I don't know, I just got a whim in me, and I said, you know what, today's the day. It is the day. It's time to do it. I've already been working on some of the stuff, so it's not gonna be like such a shock to me, you know, like quit smoking cigarettes pretty much, and things like that. Anyways, headed to Kroger. Okay, the good thing about Kool-Aid is it's not very expensive. I hope. It's been a little while since I bought it. I think the last time I bought it was a quarter a package. I forgot my wallet, so I got about 60 cents. So hopefully inflation doesn't bite us in the butt. Now, I'm not going to show you how to go in Kroger and get Kool-Aid, because if I have to show you how to go in Kroger and get Kool-Aid, then you don't need to be taking mushrooms. Okay, inflation didn't get us too bad. Still 25 cents a package. grape Kool-Aid. Pretty self-explanatory. G-R-A-P-E is the kind you're looking for. And you want Kool-Aid, real Kool-Aid, not Flavor Aid or grape drink. You want the real deal stuff. I mean, you know, go ahead and splurge a little bit. Treat yourself to some real Kool-Aid. Okay, and voila. Now there's about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 ounces of liquid in here. I put ice in there. Now you want to drink it before the ice melts. And it was pretty cool anyways because I put it in the freezer for a minute while I went to Kroger. And you want to drink it before the ice melts because that makes less liquid that you have to drink. And I'm not going to show me drinking this because it's kind of a spiritual thing for me, and it's just against my spiritualness. So, hopefully I will see you on the other side. I'm going to fight some things. I gotta go get my shield and my sword and my rainbows and butterflies.